I and my sister unlocked the choose system. If you had 1 billion, which would you choose, your biological mother or 1 billion with your mom? My sister didn't hesitate and chose 1 billion. Then she married into the G family, a wealthy clan, and held 1 billion in dowry. As for me, I stayed with my mother, who remarried, living an ordinary life. Who would have thought that in less than 3 years after my sister married in, the G family went bankrupt. Her husband ran away with the money to a distant country, leaving her to take the blame and sit in prison alone. After she was released from prison, the first thing she did was come to kill me. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day we had to choose again. This time she chose her biological mother first. I laughed. Finally someone would go through that tiger wolf den for me. I choose my mom, my twin sister. Cooing spoke those words with an unhidden expression of pride on her face. Exactly the same as the look she had after making a choice in her previous life. Last time she chose 1 billion, and ended up with such a miserable outcome. It seems she is full of confidence in her choice this time. I had no choice, and could only accept a 1 billion yuan betrothal gift from the G family, marrying the son of the country's richest man, Ji Tingxian. The day we got married was so sensational that elites from all walks of life across the country came to attend our wedding. And the groom was the only one who didn't show up. In the past life, Qi Yunyu and I would have married like this. It's funny to say, Ji Tingxian is incredibly childish. He refused to attend the wedding just to prove that his true feelings for his white moonlight would never change. Actually, I know in my heart that whether he married my sister in the past life or this time to marry me, it's because his family pushed him to marry quickly, and moreover, we and his white moonlight look extremely alike. In his words, barely acceptable to the eye. Because the groom was absent, the wedding venue became incredibly awkward. I stood alone beside the witness, glancing at Xing Qing standing among the crowd, her face full of mockery. The last time she got married, she encountered this situation too. She was anxious and angry, crying loudly at the scene, making an already awkward situation even more so. This time she must be determined to come and laugh at me. My younger sister has always been like this, unable to bear me living better than she does. When she was a child, she loved to fool around. While I studied hard and achieved good grades, always praised by the school, she could not stand it. So she joined the school's petty gang to bully me. It's also because she has been like that from childhood to adulthood that I was tempered to be calm in the face of fame and disgrace. I bore no grudges and walked through all the procedures arranged by the host with a smile on my face. When I went down to toast, several millionaire ladies-in-waiting praised me without end, saying I behaved with grace and composure, able to handle such a situation calmly. They all think I've suffered a tremendous grievance, but I can only hold it in my heart and keep up appearances. But what they don't know is that I truly don't care. What's the big deal about getting married? Whether the groom shows up or not doesn't matter. As long as 1 billion lands in the account, it's over. After all, I'm not getting married for that stupid man. 2. On the night of the wedding, when I got home, my mother-in-law started berating Ji Tingxian, calling him a useless thing, saying he couldn't see the bigger picture and almost ruined the Ji family's reputation. Do you know, if Henin hadn't held the fort today, our family would have become the butt of everyone's jokes. Facing the blame from his biological mother, Ji Tingxian looked full of displeasure. The mother-in-law, burning with regret, said, "To be able to marry a girl like Henin, I don't know what else you're not satisfied with. Do you really think Henin is looking up to you by marrying you? If you ask me, our family is the one who is looking up. Do you even know that Henin is?" Enough. Stop talking. Ji Tingxian cut off the conversation. I don't care who she is. As he spoke, he got up from the sofa, took a few steps to my side, and stared straight at me with no warmth in his eyes whatsoever. You're just a stand-in, and a stand-in should have the resolve of a stand-in. Remember, I will never touch you. And don't think about flattering me or trying to get under my skin. God. That feel of him rushing up and making me feel so gross and stupid. If it weren't for my mother-in-law being present, I would really want him to stay far away from me. I am squeamish about idiots. I forced out a ridiculously fake smile and said, "That would be best." 3. Xing Qing is more anxious than I expected. Less than a month after I got married, she was eager to come and brag to me, to avoid my rejection. She even made up a perfect excuse and had my mom tell me. Younger sister found a pretty decent boyfriend. I'm afraid she might be deceived. Could you help mom take a look and tell me what you think about him? We arranged to meet at a cafe. The location decided by Xing Qing. We hadn't talked much when she started bragging that this was her favorite shop. Speaking, she casually hooked her arm with Lin Jiqiang's, smiling sweetly. "A Chang spoils me. He knows I like it here." And immediately bought me a yearly membership here. I told you so with the monthly salary of 2,800 yuan that Xing Qing once had. There is no way she could afford the expenses of such a high-end coffee shop. It turns out she was flaunting herself by spending other people's money. I remained calm and polite with a slight smile. That would have to thank Mr. Lin for taking care of this shop's business. That's right. This cafe is my business. After all, I hold assets worth 1 billion. And letting them all sit in the bank collecting interest is terribly boring. It's perfectly normal for me to take some of it out for investment. Xing Qing originally held the coffee cup like she was being artistic. But upon hearing this, she immediately slammed the coffee cup on the table. Even if you're rich, don't invest recklessly. Be careful not to go bankrupt. Probably sensing the puzzled look in Lin Jiqiang's eyes, she picked up the cup again, took a sip, and spoke slowly. I've come to realize that money isn't important at all. What matters is whether the people around me are truly sincere. As soon as the topic came up, she rambled on, listing a long line of good things about Lin Jiqiang, how talented he was in his youth, and how he showered her with obedience. I looked at Xing Qing, and all I could feel was pity for her. My little sister. What kind of thing has clouded her mind? After living a second life, she still doesn't see clearly. Money isn't as important as a man's sincere heart. What crazy nonsense is she talking about? Besides, what kind of scoundrel is Lin Jiqiang anyway? Could I not know that? 4. In my past life, I also had a relationship with Lin Jiqiang. We met at a gathering at Wu Dexing's house. At that time, he was Wu Dexing's prized protégé, and my mother was discussing marriage and matchmaking with Wu Dexing. Lin Jiqiang was a handsome and talented man, already one of the industry's top experts at the age of 30. And he treated me very well. A person like him pursuing me fervently gave me no reason to refuse. But after hearing Wu Dexing's suggestion, my mother stubbornly disagreed with the engagement. Lin Jiqiang even proposed to get on the train first, buy a ticket later. I decisively refused. Who knew that my rejection would reveal his true colors, causing him to go around the world spreading rumors about me? And I was greatly troubled by it for a long time before I managed to put an end to it. Later I found out that he was eager to marry me because his supposed insider expert status in the industry was all made up. He actually couldn't stand at the company anymore and wanted to use Wu Dexing's university professor identity to secure a position at a university. What kind of man has true sincerity? Even if there is any, he is nothing but garbage. But all his rotten deeds, compared to Wu Dexing's filthy intrigues, are truly small potatoes. Taking advantage of Lin Jiqiang going to the restroom, I decide to give Xing Qing a warning. After all, she is my biological sister, and I don't want to see her fall into that scoundrel's grasp. Don't waste your energy on the Lin surname. Wu Dexing and our mom wouldn't agree to it anyway. I took a sip of coffee and added, to be precise, no matter who you're friendly with, the two of them wouldn't agree. Stop fooling around here. Aren't you just jealous? Your husband won't touch you, so you can't stand me getting close with a Chang. Moreover, Uncle Wu has been very good to me. It's just that before, your relationship with him wasn't good because your personality isn't easy to get along with. I scoffed. Ha. It seems you think you're the type Wu Dexing would like. Then I have nothing more to say. Kind words cannot persuade a doomed ghost. Compassion cannot save someone who has chosen self-destruction. 5. I've been very busy lately. Busy making money grow. Besides that coffee shop, I actually have several other ventures. When I have money in hand, I invest with great enthusiasm, and it finally fulfills my long-time dream of running a business. I used to think that once I saved enough money, I would open my own shop. And for years I tried almost every job I could. I've thoroughly learned about production, sales, and after-sales for many products. But a poor laborer like me, trying to save up seed capital to start a business, how easy is that? I never managed to fulfill that wish before I died. But looking back now, it's precisely the valuable experience from these low-level jobs that allows me to understand the market better than other investors, understand customers, and most importantly, understand the staff. In just under half a year, my 100 million not only didn't decrease, it actually earned quite a bit more. But I had no intention of telling anyone. That day, I was lying on the bed, delightedly staring at my bank card balance, when Ji Tingxian suddenly barged into the bedroom, his face full of unhappiness, glaring at me. Woman, don't think that pretending not to be interested in me will attract my attention. I looked up and gave him a look that said I was looking at a fool. Damn you, you moron. I lounged casually. If you have nothing to do, go find something to do. Stop wandering in front of me. I'm busy counting money and have no time for you. Ji Tingxian somehow erupts with unnamed rage and unloads on me. Money, money, money like other women. All you know is spend money. I sneer in my heart, only knowing what the ultimate consequence of spending money is. And I'm afraid I understand it much better than he does. After all, there is the warning from Xing Qing. In the past, she squandered without restraint and without a mind. The 1 billion dowry was exhausted in just over 2 years. The moment she spent it all, she finally remembered to maintain their marital relationship. But it was too late. Ji Tingxian at that time had already been captivated by the white moonlight. I'm different from her. I never intended to maintain this non-existent marital relationship in the first place. Why waste time doing something so meaningless? Wouldn't focusing on making money be more appealing? 6. A month later, I boarded a plane to country F with my mother-in-law. She went for a vacation, and I, on one hand, went for the market research for my idol, and on the other hand, I simply couldn't bear Ji Tingxian any longer. He has been appearing in front of me more and more recently, and each time he looks like a domineering CEO. Woman, no matter how much you pretend to be cold, it's useless. I won't spare you even a glance. I don't know how to express my repulsion for him. I genuinely look down on a man who seems to do nothing every day. With a CEO like him, can a company really operate? On this issue, Ji Tingxian quickly put the answer into practice. No, he completely lacks the most basic decision-making ability that a leader should have. In the more than half a month since arriving in F country, his mother-in-law receives a phone call about company matters every day, most of which are calls placed by Ji Tingxian himself. He is a grown man nearly 30, yet behaves like a child. Needing to ask his mother's opinion about everything, he cannot take any initiative. Nor can he cope with the ever-changing winds and waves of the business world. My mother-in-law has a terrible headache and can only book a flight back home in advance. I came out for a vacation just to see if Tingxian could manage the company affairs on his own now that he's apart from me. Turns out I overestimated him. You, on the other hand, are much more mature than him. In these days of watching you conduct surveys, I'm reminded of when I was young and followed my father-in-law to handle affairs. I'll say what I said from the start. For the Ji family to marry a girl like you is indeed an upgrade. Looking at this elder with earnest words and a kind, gentle face, I find it hard to connect her with the vicious mother-in-law in Xing Qing's mouth. But in that moment I understood. My mother-in-law isn't targeting anyone specifically. She simply dislikes waste. She treats her own worthless son with such disdain. Let alone Xing Qing, that useless daughter-in-law who achieves nothing, coincidentally, in disliking waste. We share a common language. 7. The first thing I did after returning to my country was to establish an entertainment company and vigorously recruit trainees. This bowl of rice in the entertainment industry is something I must eat. And I have to eat it well and full. After my mother-in-law found out, She greatly supported my career, invested a large amount of funds, and used her network to secure many opportunities for my trainees to gain exposure. At first I was a bit resistant, not wanting to owe her such a big favor, but she said a few words, which dispelled my doubts. Don't think I'm spoiling you. I'm negotiating in business terms. I can't put all my eggs in one basket, let alone that rotten basket from the G family that looks unstable. With her help, my trainees quickly gained some notoriety, and coincidentally there was a program recently in the works called Form a Group. Trainees. So I signed up the trainees, and I, one of the program's sponsors, sat on the judging panel as the group's manager. The interns from each company took the stage one by one to show their talents, but everyone understood in their hearts that these were merely props, the purpose being to highlight the next person to perform. Hello everyone. My name is Lin Qingyan. Lin Qingyan. Widely recognized as a strong favorite to win the championship. Ji Tingxuan's cherished white moonlight. 8. I must say, Lin Qingyan's face is worth every penny spent. It's truly a sight to behold, and no wonder that fool Ji Tingxian is so infatuated he's lost his soul. But no matter how beautiful she is, her talent show is equally awful. A rap with no sense of rhythm that makes me feel sick reading it. Very good image. But you still need to improve in professional capability. I asked myself. I think I've been sufficiently tactful, but I didn't expect Lin Qingyan's team to be as pretentious as she is, wildly marketing the victim persona. Lin Qingyan, intentional or not, reveals her old affair with Ji Tingxian, guiding public opinion to portray me as a venomous woman who steals lovers and marries into a grand family through marrying up. The moment the show aired its first episode, my popularity with her outshone all the other trainees. And this is exactly the result her team wants. Now the netizens are most concerned with Ji Tingxuan's own attitude. In fact, everyone in the industry knows that the president of a listed company cannot publicly respond to such tabloid news. However, they overestimated Ji Tingxuan's intelligence. I received his call. As long as you admit that your indifference to me is feigned, this time I'll reluctantly lend you a hand. Fucking idiot. Shouting this phrase I had been bottling up. I hung up the call directly. So half an hour later, I saw a headline. G Group's president publicly took Lin Qingyan's side and publicly presented the betrothal token. 9. You fool. Were you kicked by a donkey or something? I drove up to Ji Tingxian and slapped him hard across the face, scolding him angrily. He covered his reddened face and stared at me blankly. The last person who hit me was my mother too. Woman, you're playing with fire. If you keep behaving this half-heartedly between public and private, revealing everything, you'll truly be playing with fire and self-immolating. What do you think Lin Qingyan is such a good thing? He lifted his lips into a smile. Ha, woman, you really are jealous of Yan Yan. You deserve it. Tired. Destroy it. I really can't save it. I was originally thinking I could give him a warning to stay away from Lin Qingyan, so my mother-in-law's efforts wouldn't all come to nothing. But now it seems there's no need. With such a capable hand, the G Group would truly be hard to justify if it didn't go bankrupt. 10. G Group's rival, Guoguang Group, has not let go of this superb opportunity, taking advantage of Ji Tingxian and Lin Qingyan's gossip. They publicized Ji Tingxuan's chaotic private life and even uncovered that the betrothal token was actually a limited edition from a brand that offended the country. For a time, Ji Tingxuan's reputation plummeted, and the stock price of the Ji family enterprise tumbled along with him. I glanced at the deposits in my bank card growing day by day, and I was not flustered at all. He ruins his own wealth. I earn my money. We do not interfere with each other. But in Xing Qing's eyes, it was clearly not like that. She determined that Ji Tingxian and I were on the same string of grasshoppers. So as soon as she heard the news of Ji's company's stock price plummeting, she called first to taunt. Although I broke up with Aqiang, Uncle Wu treats me exceptionally well, buys me many name-brand brands, and unconditionally supports me in doing anything. Not like you. Even though you have a rich husband, he doesn't even bother to look at you. In the end, she didn't forget to add, "Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you. Your rich husband is about to go bankrupt too. I fell silent and hung up the phone. Sometimes, watching a fool perform alone can be quite helpless. 11. This is how Wudexing is spending money like water. Especially fond of spending on young girls. Although his pension isn't high, it's not enough to support his spending this way. In the last life, my mom had to work several jobs every day, which was very hard. I also advised her to break up with Wudexing, but my mom insisted that as she gets older, it isn't easy to find a partner who understands her and is warm-hearted. Seeing that I truly couldn't persuade her, I decided to earn more on my own to help her. It was for this reason that I quit my job as a university gymnastics teacher, hoping to explore more development opportunities. From that day on, the person who juggled several jobs at once became me. Yet what was hardest for me to endure wasn't the stress from work, but my mom's insatiable greed. She never sweethearted me. She only complains that I don't give enough. Gradually, I realized that my mom is a hopeless love-struck brain. For that awful old man, Wudexing, she doesn't mind treating me like a beast of burden at all. So what now? My sister is notoriously lazy and gluttonous, and hoping she goes out to earn money is absolutely impossible. My mom can only bear the burden herself. With my mom's frail figure, how could she endure being squeezed by the two of them like this? Sure enough, within a few days I received a call from my mom. She cried on the phone, describing her situation as extremely miserable. I believe everything you say, but what does this have to do with me? I replied indifferently and hung up the phone. The Virgin Mary's excessive charity will not lead to a good outcome. Remember to let go of the helper narrative and respect others' fate. 12. The schedule for Create the Group Practice Edition has passed its halfway point, and the contestants are all working hard to compete for a debut spot. Except for Lin Qingyan, who is an exception. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would hardly believe it. The competition has reached the stage. Yet there are people who can perform dancer so badly. Her movements were distorted, her voice off-key, singing the final line. The joys and sorrows of the dancer are unseen. I've endured an entire song, but I've reached my limit. No one sees my joys and sorrows. The entire studio suddenly fell silent. My blood surged, and I spoke sternly and angrily. If you had ever attended a single gymnastics class, you would never have performed this piece with artistic gymnastics movements in such a way. Have you ever shown respect to the audience? Have you shown respect to artistic gymnastics? What you're doing is blasphemy against gymnastics. As soon as I finished speaking, some fans behind me expressed their discontent. No, this woman must be sick, right? Does she even understand gymnastics? Our Yan Yan has already tried very hard. Old women are just jealous of Yan Yan. Lin Qingyan stayed calm and smiled softly. Consort has elder sister is right. I'm not very good at this area. But from what you mean, it seems you understand artistic gymnastics quite well. Could you demonstrate it in person? As she spoke, she raised the ribbon she was using for the performance. I understand. She is taunting me. She is now smiling incredibly brightly and gracefully. But it doesn't matter, she won't be able to smile for long. I took the ribbon from her hand and, with a spin, a leap, and eyes closed, my movements were smooth and graceful. It's been a while since I practiced. I'm a little rusty. I smiled and handed the ribbon back to Lin Qingyan. She is currently staring with a blank look on her face. But what cleared up perplexity even more for her was still to come. That afternoon, someone on the internet dug up another identity of mine that I had never mentioned. A former world champion in rhythmic gymnastics. 13. They are all past honors I had won before, and I think there is nothing worth mentioning. But the public's attention to my identity far exceeded my expectations. In less than half a day, news about me spread across the internet. People marveled at my excellence and admired my low profile. I told you, how could an ordinary person marry into the wealthiest family? It takes real ability to be worthy. What nonsense are you talking? That's a world champion. This is a climb onto the G family. Thanks to my world champion status, the G family company's reputation has risen again. And after more than a week of decline, the stock finally shows an upward trend. This wave of G family's near miss can be counted as a narrow escape from death. My mother-in-law's anxious heart had been suspended for days, and only now did it barely settle. I told you so. Marrying Henin is like your old G family burning lots of incense. You stubborn brat. Don't you know some manners? After a long time I learned that the person who first announced my championship online was actually hired by my mother-in-law. I asked her why she did this. She looked smug. My son's wife is so outstanding. I can't let her be bullied by those useless people. 14. I thrived. Flourishing. And Lin Qingyan's days would not be so easy anymore. After the dancer incident, her popularity plummeted. The company poured a lot of resources into her. But her lousy professional abilities caused all those resources to go to waste, and the company could only consider elevating others. Thus, Lin Qingyan became the company's cast-off. Somewhere a strange wind blew in, and public opinion speculated that I would seize the opportunity to push Lin Qingyan to ruin, while lauding my own trainee. As for Lin Qingyan herself, she didn't even want to keep face anymore. Facing the cameras, she cried and complained that she was under immense pressure. In a bad state, felt targeted, and might quit the competition at any moment under the strain. The bot army also stepped up at the right time, always insinuating that she was being suppressed by me. In truth, this is nothing more than a last-ditch struggle of a cornered animal. She has already been abandoned by the company. That is an undeniable fact, no matter how much they spin it. It's just her paying out of pocket to generate revenue for the marketing accounts. I only need to watch quietly. But I forgot that I still have a pig teammate like Ji Tingxian. This time, he was the first to step forward and make his position clear. However, unlike last time, this time he firmly stood on my side. 15. I hurried to his office, and seeing the look on his face as if he was vying for credit and rewards, my anger blazed up somewhere. I told you last time to keep public and private matters clearly separated, and you still can't remember a single thing. Are you a pig-headed fool? He was clueless and furious. You this woman. I've been protecting you. Why are you still dissatisfied? What exactly do you want me to do? The phone in his pocket vibrated. I picked it up and, after a glance, my vision went black. Our rival company's moves were faster than I had anticipated. After I saw Ji Tingshuan's outrageous stance, I contacted the public relations team immediately, trying to minimize the impact of the public opinion as much as possible. Looking at it now, I realize I was still a step late. Ji Tingshuan's negative news has already spread across the internet. Ji Tingshuan coming out to speak for Xing Keshuan at this moment. Isn't he clearly dripping with oil? Haha. A rotten cucumber trying to uphold a deep character arc. For a moment, all kinds of pornographic rumors about him were unearthed. I of course know these are all fake. But what can the onlookers care about? For a full 3 days, the buzz around this issue stayed high. I was determined to make him tidy up his own mess. But he tried for more than a month and still didn't achieve anything notable. In the end, my mother-in-law stepped in to help settle things. That day at the family banquet, my mother-in-law was physically and mentally exhausted. I'm getting old. I've wanted to let go for a long time. This is my last time helping you. From now on, all corporate matters. Don't come to me again. Listen more to your wife. He was quite good at adapting. Honey, do you have any advice for the future development of the company? I took a sip of red wine and looked at my mother-in-law. Mom, if conditions permit, I suggest you have another child. 16. The rainstorm followed by flood. Nothing lately has given me a moment of peace. Just after I cleared up the mess Ji Tingshuan caused, I got news from my mother that she was ill and hospitalized. When Ji Tingshuan and I just arrived at the ward, my mom started scolding me. You brat. You finally showed up. You do have a sense of conscience. We exaggerated a bit. We actually came to get back the 500,000 yuan that Ji Tingshuan had sent to you. This fool, to curry favor with me. After hearing my mother was hospitalized, didn't say a word and sent 500,000 yuan. Luckily he came to me at once to claim credit afterward. Otherwise I'm afraid I would have wasted 500,000 yuan for nothing and been kept in the dark. Zhang Qihan. You're really something. If you're not willing to pay yourself, fine. But are you planning to take back the money your brother-in-law gave? I coldly looked over. Zhang Qiang, carrying a lot of luggage, had just left and was followed by Wu Dexing. Seeing this, are the two of them going out shopping? My mom has been exhausted and sick just to support these two vampires. I never thought they would have the leisure to go shopping. Who gave them the face to speak to me? I coldly taunted. Oh, buying so many luxury goods. You wouldn't be using the 500,000 yuan my family lent you, would you? Mind your own business. The money was lent to me by my brother-in-law. None of your business. I teased. Oh, your brother-in-law regrets it and plans to take it back. Xing Qing's big eyes blinked, staring at Ji Tingxian. Brother-in-law. Is what she's saying true? I remained calm, looked at Ji Tingxian, who seemed like a kitten being toyed with, obediently nodded, earning me a small smile in return. I turned to Xing Qing. Not paying me back is fine too, as long as you give interest. Xing Qing, while pulling out her phone to transfer money, cursed under her breath. A dirty-hearted, rotten Tothakor thing like me only cares about money. 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 Unlike me who values feelings. I looked at her. Then at Wu Dexing who had been fawning behind her the whole time. If you value feelings, that's the best. Uncle Wu's feelings for you are truly deep. 17. Time flies to the night of debut. Under the witness of billions, Han Zishi, who also belongs to the same company as Lin Qingyan, rose up with a sudden force and won the championship, debuting in the C position. Maybe many people think this result is surprising, but I understand that this girl's strength has always deserved such an reward. I have seen her practice dance alone late at night. I have seen her, to master difficult moves, fall with a bloody nose and cry, then get up and continue practicing. I have seen her push through a fever of 40 degrees, getting in 4 and still wanting to train. To be fair, she works harder than all the trainees under me and is excellent. Now, she stands at the very center of the stage, under everyone's watch, holding the trophy, crying like a child. She sniffles as she expresses endless gratitude to me, saying that it is because of me that she has reached the position she is in today. On the eve of the competition, rumors spread externally that I have been using capital to suppress other trainees to promote my own artist. And many unscrupulous marketing accounts even asserted that the final position would surely be one of my trainees. However, reality gave these people a brutal slap in the face, and I did indeed mobilize capital. Only my capital was used to fund Han Zishi. At that time, trainees within the company were all whispering that Han Zishi intended to withdraw from the competition. Such a girl who loves the stage, withdrawing would surely be out of necessity. After I inquired, I learned that her father had fallen seriously ill and there was no money for treatment. I, without a word, took on all of her father's medical expenses, which eased her worries and allowed her to focus on the competition. Dreams are precious. Children from ordinary families should be braver to pursue them. I hope you never give up easily. I am here. 18. I thought after the show finished recording, I could stay away from all the rumors and take a good rest for a while. But fate doesn't listen to people. The secret recipe of G's flagship product was leaked. In the previous life, the G family collapsed from this incident and went bankrupt completely after half a year. The news was a huge uproar at the time. My sister cried and told me at the time that it was all because of that bitch Lin Qingyan, with no chance of rising. She turned to the embrace of the president of Guoguang Group. The secret recipe was something she squeezed out of Ji Tingxian and leaked. But in this life, Ji Tingxian follows my every command every day and has already cut ties with Lin Qingyan. How could he fall for her trick again? 19. Ji Tingxian stammered. She said, if I don't give her the secret recipe, she'll tie you up with someone. I rub my temples. Guess why she doesn't just tie me up directly? Is it because she doesn't like me? I roared in anger. I go out every day with 2 bodyguards. What binding can she do? Do you have a brain? even if she ties me up. So what? I am more valuable than the secret recipe. You are valuable. You are more valuable than anything. Ji Tingxian answers immediately. Besides, with so many product lines at home, we can't rely on this one product to eat, right? I become frustrated to the point of dizziness, really wanting to personally pry his head open to see what the inside is like. Seeing that my expression was getting uglier by the moment, he whispered, "What do we do now?" Mom said to listen to you. I sighed deeply and looked out the window. I'll point you to a clear path, why not just jump down now? The scene was once very awkward, but fortunately my phone rang in time. I had just pressed the answer button when I heard my mom's wailing like shrill noises. Come back quickly and take a look. Your sister has had something happen. 20. Xingqing cried like a drowned person, unable to speak clearly, and my mom kept stammering, as if she had some unspeakable secret. After listening for a long time, I finally understood what had happened. To put it simply, my sister was almost raped, and the person who forced her was not someone else, but the old partner my mom just found, Wu Dexing. I know my sister is stupid, but I don't know she can be this stupid. My mom was at a loss. What do we do now? Your sister is like this. Uncle Wu has run away too. How am I going to live the rest of my life? I got irritated by her shouting and said impatiently, "What can we do? First call the police and have them arrest her. And then we'll figure it out later." When my mom heard this, her face changed dramatically. In a panic, she started blocking. No, we can't call the police. If we report it, Uncle Wu will really be doomed. Well, flies don't sting eggs without cracks. If Ying were a little more vigilant, the man wouldn't have raped her. Ha! It's indeed the same mom I know. In the last life, I told her that when that old lecher sought to scheme against me, she held that same stubborn attitude. From that moment, I understood that my mom was a complete love-struck brain. She would rather believe her daughter is a morally loose piece of trash than admit that her crush is an old lecher. Xingqing isn't crying anymore now, but her expression looks more desperate than before. Taking advantage of my mom stepping out for a convenient moment, she started to harass me. You've known all along that he's like this, right? Why didn't you tell me? Of course I knew. How could I possibly not know? I'm just smarter than her and more resolute than she is. When I uncovered Wu Dexing's true nature and realized my mom wouldn't stand with me, I fled that hellhole overnight and began living on my own. Almost all the money I had earned before was in my mom's hands, so life after I left home was very hard. I also tried to seek help from my rich sister, but when she was riding high in the limelight, she wouldn't even glance at me. Now you actually come to accuse me. What a big face you have. I looked at Xingqing, saying angrily. She was stunned for a moment by what I said. I sneered at her. So what if you live again? So what if you chose a different option? You should be able to see it now as well, no matter how you choose. The loser is you. Do you know why? Xingqing bit her lower lip hard, her expression turning grim, and hatred filled her eyes. I moved close to her, touched that pretty face of hers, and smiled. Because you're stupid. You always place your hopes in others. You've never thought about changing anything by yourself. Dumb sister. A worthless fool. Even if you lived your life 100 times, it would only be 100 ways to die for acting dumb. I will kill you. Suddenly, she charged forward without regard, grabbing my collar and trying to suffocate me. However, she had just made her move, when in the next moment a security guard barging in knocked her to the ground, letting out a scream that sounded like a pig being slaughtered. I crouched down and studied her carefully, sighing with emotion. Tut, tut, tut. Do you really think you're still in the same league as me? I've given you face by letting you get close to me, and you still want to kill me. She was pressed to the ground, frantically writhing and squirming, like a maniac. Oh, I can't say she looked like a madwoman. In this state, she truly seems to have lost her mind. That night, my mom cried and called. What should we do? Your sister has gone crazy and jumped into the river. 21. She was lucky fate smiled on her, and someone pulled her out in time. But before she jumped into the river, she was already acting crazy. The icy river water shocked her brain, and now she goes crazy at the sight of men. And once she goes crazy, she wants to kill. My mom really had no choice. She had to pay out of pocket to send her to a psychiatric hospital. Are you sure you won't help? Your mom has worked hard. Jean Tingxian asked cautiously, glancing secretly toward me, looking like an old eunuch waiting for an edict. I gave him a disdainful look. Never mind that. Her understanding is as deserved for the suffering she's endured. You should mind your own business. I've heard workers haven't been paid for more than 2 months and are about to start trouble. He patted his chest. You don't need to worry about this. I already have a solution. In a couple of days. Just wait and see your man perform. I looked at him with doubt, muttering to myself. Can I really trust him? I have to say, in the aspect of disappointment, Ji Tingxian never let me down. Just a few days later, he answered my doubts with his actions. Not at all trustworthy. 22. He summoned representatives of the company's employees and held a so-called mobilization meeting. Seeing his swaggering look, I thought he had really come up with some good way to ride out the crisis. But who would have thought he would propose suspending wages for the workers and deliver a long rant? I know everyone is having a hard time, so I'm willing to lead by example. Starting today, I, Ji Tingxian, will also stop drawing a salary like everyone else. I believe that as long as we all work together, we can surely get through this difficult time. The taste of this capitalist vampire makes me want to vomit. How could the workers' representatives in the audience believe his nonsense? They all shouted that they wanted to beat him. Just as the situation was about to spiral out of control, a dashing figure strode onto the stage, raised the thin baton in hand, and swung it toward Ji Tingxian's back. The audience fell silent at once. Ji Tingxian stared in a daze for 2 seconds, then turned his head to look back, a look of disbelief on his face. The one hitting him wasn't someone else. It was his own mother. And the one handing him the baton wasn't someone else either, his own wife. 23. This stick is for the sake of the fellow workers. My mother-in-law, holding the stick, had a stern expression on her face. You're a rich man's pampered son. Of course you don't rely on wages to get by. But have you thought about how these ordinary workers who have no wages can support a family of elders and children? The anger on my mother-in-law's face gradually faded, replaced by a look of admonition. I've never let you suffer any hardship, and I didn't expect this would actually harm you, turning you into such a useless person. Jiding Xian rubbed his injured back, looking aggrieved. My mother-in-law pushed him aside with a look of disgust, then changed to a smiling face and waved at me, signaling me to go on stage. Regarding the company's future, everyone need not worry. I hereby promise that salaries will be paid as usual for the next 2 months. If the company cannot continue operating after 2 months, I will pay everyone the corresponding compensation according to the law. But I believe we won't get to that point, because my good daughter-in-law has already drafted a full set of countermeasures for this crisis. As she spoke, she gently took my hand. Oh no. You should address you as former Chairman Zhang. I hereby officially announce that Ji Tingxian has stepped down from the chairmanship. A familiar female voice rang out from behind the crowd. Zhang Qian. Don't celebrate too early. 24. I have spent a fortune to secure ties with the Zhang family. Your raw material supply chain is about to be cut off. Even if you have great talent, you won't be able to salvage this deadlock. Lin Qingyan came uninvited, and the words "great grievance avenged" were already written all over her face. Ji Tingxian, you've got a wife now and you've abandoned your old confidant. Then don't blame this girl for being cold-blooded and ruthless. Did you think your parents' business, built with hard work, could be toppled by me alone? She weaved through the crowd and, under the entourage of bodyguards, walked up to me with a defiant look. Zheng Qihan, you've taken the place that should have been mine. You're really asking to die. Ji Tingxian protected me behind him and began to unleash the business tycoon lines. If you intentionally tried to provoke me, I tell you, you succeeded. Go over there on the side. I couldn't bear it any longer and said a word, grabbing Ji Tingxian by the collar, pulling him back, and tossing him behind me. I stepped forward to meet Lin Qingyan's provocative gaze, not backing down in the slightest. Don't tell me you really think you've won. 25. In the previous world, Guoguang Group secured victory by cutting off Ji's raw material supply. Coincidentally, in the previous life I worked as a Livian housekeeper for a while, and my employer Zhang Weiping was actually the boss of the Ji Group's raw material supplier. It was just that the situation had already been decided at that time, and I had no way to intervene. But this time is different. When I found that things were developing in the original direction again, I anticipated Lin Qingyan's next move and took the initiative to approach Zhang Weiping. Zhang Weiping divorced early and never remarried. He raises his 5.5-year-old daughter, Miao Miao, by himself and spoils her rotten. Since Miao Miao was a child, she was extremely picky about food and never ate properly. Because of her, Zhang Weiping spent a lot of money on people to treat her, but there was little effect. Until my appearance, I spent about half a year and fixed this picky eating problem of the little girl. After she started eating normally, her temperament improved a lot. And Zhang Weiping is very grateful to me for that. Since in the previous life I could handle Miao Miao clearly and decisively, this time it's naturally no problem either. The Ji family and the Zhang family have been business partners for many years, and leveraging that connection, I invited the father and daughter to attend the banquet, and even served them my own freshly made chestnut cake, which is Miao Miao's favorite. This little girl really fell in love at first bite, even devouring several pieces. Zhang Weiping was stunned at the time and kept insisting on asking me for a recipe, saying he would pay any price for it. I don't want his money, but I want him to guarantee a continuous supply of raw materials. He readily agreed, took my recipe, and went home satisfied. My mother-in-law is not reassured. Aren't you afraid he'll back out? Not afraid. Even if Lin Qingyan uses more incentives in the future, I'm sure he won't back out. That chestnut cake would only bore Miao Miao after 10 days or half a month. By then he'll have to come to me, and I have hundreds of food formulas that Miao Miao loves to eat in my possession. Enough to lure him for more than 10 years. 26. After taking the call, Lin Qingyan's face turned green and purple, looking dreadful. I retorted, "Why not smile anymore? Are you born not to like smiling?" Seeing that she was speechless from being choked by me, I pressed the advantage. "Was it Zhang Weiping who called you? Has he told you that he won't agree to your request?" "Oh my. He doesn't covet your filthy money at all." She, furious and worn to a frenzy, charged up to tear at me. Ji Tingxuan is intellectually useless, but his reflexes are still enough. He grabs Lin Qingyan's arm and yanks her backward hard. "Am I the woman of Ji Tingxuan? Something you can lay a hand on?" At this moment, even the business tycoon quotes don't seem so nauseating. Lin Qingyan was shoved. Faltering, she signaled to the bodyguards beside her to hurry over. I ask myself honestly, I actually want to see whether a battle-damaged version of Ji Tingxian would be more pleasing to the eye. But reason tells me that if a real fight breaks out, it might not be as simple as battle damage. So I spoke up to stop them. The older brothers are protecting her now. And if she ends up in trouble with a lawsuit later and you don't get paid, don't blame me for not warning you in advance. What nonsense are you talking about? Oh, you don't know yet. I've already submitted the complaint materials to the relevant department, saying you infringed trade secrets and used improper means to engage in business competition. The money you gave to Zhang Weiping has already been submitted as evidence. What should we do? Someone might go to jail. Lin Qingyan's ability to handle pressure is so poor that she fainted on stage. Ji Tingxuan gave me a straight thumb up. "Honey, you're amazing. What would I do without you? Get lost. If it weren't for worrying about mom's blood, sweat, and tears going to waste, I wouldn't bother with your mess at all." 27. I say that the Ji family business is the blood, sweat, and tears of my mother-in-law. There's no exaggeration in the least. She told me about her struggles when she was young. Back then, my father-in-law was just a reckless young man, failing in every business he tried. becoming the village joke. Later he married my mother-in-law, and life began to improve. Later, they founded the G family business, and my mother-in-law was busier than anyone, taking care of every detail that needed attention. You have no idea how hard those years wore me down. My health even started to fail. The doctor said if I kept pushing myself like that, I wouldn't be able to carry the child. My mother-in-law recalled the past with a bitter look. But even though I've run the company for so many years, I've never held an official position there. Tingshuan's old dad always said women shouldn't be entrusted with important matters. I spit on that. She spoke with a hint of resentment, then suddenly grew pleased with herself. No matter how many schemes he had, he never counted on himself being a short-lived ghost. After he dies, his son and the company will all have to listen to me. Thinking about these things, I feel vindicated. My mother-in-law is usually an elegant lady, and I didn't expect such an attitude when she talked about her late husband. I found it a bit absurd, but more endearing. I smiled and said, "Fortunately, Tingxian isn't like his father. He's quite supportive of me taking over the company. Would you dare not support it?" Then, Grandma pulled my hand, speaking gently. "Good daughter, you must remember, we women aren't inferior to those big men. We don't need to hide behind them to support them." I understood her meaning. Nodding with a smile. 28. After weighing it carefully, I still told the police about it in secret from my mom, and Wu Dexing received a 6-year prison sentence. The day they arrested him, my mom came to rant at me, saying I ruined the happiness of her latter years. I told her that couldn't be. Happiness still exists. So I turned my head and sent her into the happy nursing home. Ji Tingxian was sent to the grassroots for training, as my mother-in-law put it, to make him taste all the hardships he hadn't endured in the past 30 years, so he wouldn't be so useless. To ensure he wouldn't receive any special treatment, my mother-in-law deliberately hid his identity and sent him to the most remote factory district affiliated with the company. At first, Ji Tingxian cried for his father and mother, threw tantrums, and acted like a bear who didn't want to go to school. This situation ended on the day he got his salary, a monthly wage of 1,500, and he turned it into 15 million in mindset. That day he was so overjoyed that he called me to brag about his 15 billion yuan windfall. Do you know, this is the first time I earned money through my own labor. For the first time I feel that my life has meaning, and that is labor. Since then, Ji Tingshuan's motivation has only grown stronger. By carrying heavy packages in the factory, he repeatedly achieved recognition and commendations. I used to think I spoiled him by raising him, not realizing the problem was the path we chose actually a strength type. My mother-in-law dropped this line and pulled away with her suitcase to start her vacation. And I, on the other hand, wasn't so leisurely. The G family enterprise and my entertainment company were both thriving. I made money, counted money, so busy that I'm completely overwhelmed. This mixture of pain and pleasure is truly fascinating. End.